Hello there, welcome to Bryan Lomax Movie Talk. This is my review of Insidious, The Last Key. This was released in 2018. It is the fourth film in the Insidious franchise, the last one at this point. There is a fifth on the way. Written once again by Leigh Whannell and directed this time around by Adam Robital. Leigh Whannell directed the third one, did a pretty damn good job as well actually with the third one, so it surprises me that it doesn't come back for this one, but there you go. Yeah, Lin Shaye back as Elise Rainer, the star of this franchise now. I think she was like 74 years old, something like that, when she made this film. So props to her. That's all I can say. It's props to her. She, it's not often you get many. Well, any, to be honest. I can't think of another franchise certainly within the horror genre that is, where the lead character is a woman of later years, shall we say. It's usually your young, blonde, kind of brunette, good looking, straight out of college, kind of, you know what I mean? So, if nothing else, I will credit the film and this franchise in general for that. Now, as I say, I did think that Leigh Whannell did a good job directing his own script for the third film. I do wonder if, well, let's face it, this film ain't quite as good. Now, for the most part, until the final act, it does pretty well. We have a mystery that is going on in this house. It's Elise Rainer's house that she grew up in, so we're going back to her past. There's a haunting there. She's called back to it, and it brings up a lot of the things from her childhood, demons of the past that have been left undealt with, which she now has to face. So the setup is pretty good. The characters that kind of come into play, that are all set up, I like them. I like the use of them for the most part. And once again, Lin Shaye is great in that lead role. I just think by the time we get to the final act, things really start to fall apart. And most of it is down to that spiritual realm, which I've said I've had trouble with before, particularly with the second film. Now the first film was a bit of a surprise in that it was one thing, and then in the final act it became something else, and it was like, okay, whatever. I'm not entirely sure about it, but it works as a horror movie for the most part. Whereas the second film really embraced this spiritual realm that Rainer is kind of tapped into, and they go into it, and there's too many inconsistencies in there. Whereas in the third film, I felt like Whannell had a handle on that. He didn't push that too far beyond the realm of possibility, or the realm of believability is more likely, really, what I'm trying to say. Whereas here, we're back to that realm that we were in with Insidious Chapter 2, where once they get into the spiritual realm, it's hard to know what the rules are. There doesn't seem to be any. And it's just, everything becomes a bit hazy. There's stuff there that is there for the sake of shock value, for the sake of scaring you. But then when you kind of put it alongside other things, it's like, it don't quite work. So we have this ghost kind of another character that pops up. So this character that has died at some point during the film kind of comes up and then basically just punches a demon in the spiritual realm. And it's like, I don't know, I don't really know what's going on here. Like, what's the rules? Tell me what the rules are. Tell me what people can and cannot do within this realm. Because once we are in this realm, the demons seem to have a lot of power to scare and to push people down and take control and imprison them and things like that. And yet some other character just comes up that died and she enters that realm and punches the demon out. And it all just it's messy. It's really, really messy. It's all over the place. It doesn't make sense. It's just like, if it's just down to 1L's script, then shame on him, I guess. It's just, you need to iron those kinks out, mate, before you carry on with this franchise. That's the stuff you need to set in stone, so that, you know, so that the world has a set of rules that we know you have to live by, and therefore it keeps things in check. Adds to the believability. If it's the director's choice, if he's taken the script and said, oh, well, you know, maybe there was some stuff in there, but he said, but I want to do this, and you never know with these things, you know. But either way, it's sloppy. Again, it's that final act. I think there's some genuine scares in this, some really creepy stuff. I've said before, I think I commented, maybe it was with my review on Insidious 2, just the fact that I don't like jump scares. They're a bit pointless. Unless the thing that's going boo is actually there, and then is a genuine threat to the person that it's gone boo at. You know, if it is part of the genuine horror, if a creature jumps out and then goes on the attack, I don't mind that kind of jump scare, because that's real. It's when it's the fake outs. They annoy me. There's a few of them in here, and it just bugs me. The other thing is when something is happening that is for the audience benefit. So the character can't see it. You know, like, I saw Annabelle Creation recently. That was a really scary film, quite well done. But too often it relied on something that, again, this film does a few times, where something's happening in the background. You know, a character will be like right up close to the screen, they'll be doing something, looking at something, and then you'll see something creeping towards them, and it's like, oh no. But all I ever think when I see that stuff is, what's the ghost doing? What's the demon doing? Whose benefit is this for? It's creeping up, and great, it's creeping the audience out, but it's doing nothing to the character that they're actually creeping up on, because they can't see them. They're like, yeah, whatever, they're just going about their business. So I always just feel like, why would a demon do that? Why would a spirit do that, or a supernatural force? You know, surely they have the power to get right there, get right to the spot and get down to it. And it's just like, but instead they do all these weird things behind someone when they can't even see them. And it's just like, again, whose benefit is that for? It takes me out of the moment, I guess. If I'm asking those questions whilst I'm watching the film, it's taking me out of the moment. So the film does those two things a few times, which is like, yeah, all right, fine, whatever. However, there are a couple of set pieces where it utilises those elements to great effect. And again, it comes down to that thing where, can the character that these things are happening to see the thing that is trying to do it? And to me, that makes all the difference. Like, there's one set piece where this character, this young girl, a relation to Elise Rainer, is down in the cellar of the house. Again, doing that whole thing that characters do in horror movies that I would never do in real life, where they go into some creepy basement all by themselves without someone with them. That is just like, yeah, sorry, you've already been told that this house has probably got some stuff going on in it that is creepy as you know what, and you're going to go down into a basement by yourself. Fine, whatever, you're brave. I personally wouldn't be that brave, but they do it anyway. And once they're in that situation, something happens to her, and she's kind of knocked on the floor. Her leg is trapped, or she's out of it a bit anyway. And then we see this demon kind of come down off the table and creep towards her. And because she can see this, it's scarier for me. It works, you know. So I'll give props to director Robital for sequences like that he puts together quite expertly, really effective. And the film does have a few of them. Angus Sampson and Lee 1L, once again, are back as Rainer's kind of sidekicks. Again, I thought the first two films, their humour kind of didn't work for me. It was a bit too much. It was a bit over the top. There were two characters that didn't seem to fit into this world, that for the most part was quite dark, quite serious. And I felt like it was the kind of comic relief that felt, and I hate to use this term, forced. People often use that. Well, what I mean by that is that you're cramming something in. It's like cramming a square peg into a round hole. These are two people who don't really belong in this world, and yet you're forcing them in there to get this humour. Whereas you could go by other means to inject humour into it, whether it's just one little line here and there from the main characters, just to lighten the load, you know, in moments of darkness. But these two characters, they seem there to kind of just say, hey, we're going to be funny at times as well, and they don't work for me. I thought that was toned down a bit in the third film, which was another reason I thought Wanell did a great job, certainly from a directing standpoint. He toned these guys down a bit, whereas here they're back to kind of Insidious 2 mode, where they're just full on, like everything's a joke with them, everything gets a bit slapstick. And again, for me, it doesn't really work in this world of darkness and horror, and yeah, it feels like it's from another film. There's a couple of moments where Robital plays on the expectations of horror as well. Like there's a really effective moment when Rainer is looking, Elise, she's looking in these suitcases that have got something in them. They've found something in these suitcases, and she takes another suitcase and she opens it up. And as she opens the suitcase up, it blocks the camera. It blocks what's in front of her. And then, you know, like when she brings that down, you're expecting something to be there. And then she pulls another suitcase off and she does it again. It's like, oh, right, it's definitely going to be there this time. And it's like the number of times they do that, just like, you know, you feel like you know something's going to jump out. And it's like, and they keep building that tension, like keeping it going. And so I thought that was quite effective, you know, taking a trope, something we know. Like normally that she'd probably done that thing with a suitcase, and on the first time, boo, it would have happened. Whereas here they're saying, that's what happens in horror movies. Not this time, maybe this time, not this. But so that keeps you on edge, keeps the tension going. So it's like I say, there's moments like that are very effective. It's just ultimately, again, like I say, that final act, once we really get into the spiritual realm, it just becomes a bit of a mess, where things are wrapped up too easily, and in a way that doesn't really make sense, that kind of makes you think, well, if the demon was that easy to just, you know, if you could just punch it out by going in there, it's just, yeah, it's all just, right then, that's that. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed the tension that it built. I enjoyed certainly the character of Elise Rainer and the stuff with her relatives. I even enjoyed her little sidekicks in some parts. You know, there's some amusing bits where they're trying to get these girls. You know, they're interested in these girls, and yeah. You know, that's a human thing, very human thing. But yeah, a little bit less humour with those guys, a little bit more sense in the script towards the end would have really, yeah, raised the game on this one. But I enjoyed it. I will give it a 3 out of 5, but that's just barely. It's just barely scraping a 3 there. I was entertained. I was never bored. That's the thing. You know, as messy as the film is, and as annoying as some of the little things are in it, I was never bored. I was always entertained. So, yeah, swings and roundabouts. But for those reasons, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Now, looking on Letterboxd and IMDb, places like that, this film does have the lowest score of the 4 movies that we've had in this franchise so far. My question to you is, do you agree with that? Are there, you know, is there anyone out there who actually thinks this is the best of the franchise? You know, so yeah, I'd like to know your thoughts. Please leave them in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching this video, and until next time, crack in.